10 R&B groups that your parents danced to at every party, every family reunion, every slow drag in a dim-lit room, and most people today couldn't name a single one of them. You've heard the songs, maybe you don't even know it. You've heard these melodies buried in a sample, in a movie, at somebody's cookout, and you had no idea who made them. That's not your fault. That's time. That's what happens when a group gets everything right, makes it to the top, and still gets swallowed up by something they never saw coming. This isn't just a countdown. This is 10 groups who deserved better. And by the time we get to number 1, I think you're going to feel that. Number 10, Bloodstone. Take me. You probably know the feeling of wanting something so bad you go anywhere to get it, cross an ocean for it. Bloodstone was formed in 1962 in Kansas City, Missouri. Teenagers doing doo-wop in the streets. And by the late 1960s, they were a full, self-contained R&B outfit with 2 guitarists who played like Hendrix had shown them something personal. They weren't just a vocal group, they were a band. They went to Los Angeles first, knocked on every door, nobody wanted them, record labels passed, nothing. So here's what they did, and they packed up and moved to London, England. In 1971 in London, they met a producer named Mike Vernon, signed to Decca Records, and went into the studio. And by 1973, Natural High was climbing the Billboard Hot 100. It peaked at number 10 pop and number 4 R&B. The album sold over 1 million copies and went gold. An R&B group from Kansas City that no American label would sign had to go to England to break through in America. But here's the part that still gets me. The same year their album went gold, the same year Everything Should Have Been Celebration, their percussionist Roger Durham died, July 27, 1973. He was 27 years old, kidney failure. They pressed forward. 4 more original members would pass in the decades that followed, one by one, until only Harry Williams was left standing. And years later, Quentin Tarantino put Natural High on the Jackie Brown soundtrack. 24 years after it charted, a new generation found it. If you've ever worked that hard just to be seen, you know exactly what Bloodstone was carrying. That's number 10. Number 9 is from the housing projects of Detroit, and the song came from a dream. Number 9, The Floaters. The Sojourner Truth Housing Projects, Detroit, Michigan, 1976. 5 guys with no label deal, no major backing, just harmonies they'd been stacking since childhood, and a leader named James Mitchell, who had already been singing with the Detroit Emeralds before this. He assembled the group, his brother Paul, Larry Cunningham, Charles Clark, and Ralph Mitchell, no relation. And one night, the melody for what would become Float On came to James in a dream. He jumped out of bed, grabbed a tape recorder, and hummed the whole thing before he forgot it. They got signed to ABC Records. And in the summer of 1977, Float On came out. And nobody could fully explain why it worked the way it did. Each member introduced himself by name and astrological sign. Cancer, my name is Larry. Aquarius, my name is Ralph. Part slow love song, part personal ad, set to the smoothest bass line you'd ever heard. It hit number 1 on the R&B chart and stayed there for 6 straight weeks. Number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, held out of the top spot only by Andy Gibb. #1 in the UK Gold Certified. If you were at a house party in the summer of '77, you know exactly what the room felt like when this song came on. You know the one. Then ABC Records was sold in 1978. Distribution fell apart. Their second album, Magic, barely got promoted. The third album didn't make a dent. And just like that, through nothing they did wrong, it ended. Larry Cunningham died in 2019. Paul Mitchell in 2021. And Float On still sounds like summer every time someone puts it on. That's #9. #8 takes us to Philadelphia, where they built something romantic out of a carnival metaphor, and it sold 1 million copies. #8, Blue Magic. Philadelphia, 1972. A former member of the Delphonics named Randy Kane was working at a production company called WMOT when he brought in a singer-songwriter named Ted Mills. Ted had a voice, this warm, creamy tenor, and the producers immediately said, "This man needs a group around him." They auditioned local acts. A group called Shades of Love came in, solid harmonizers, but no standout lead. So they merged them. Ted Mills out front, brothers Vernon and Wendell Sawyer behind him, Keith Beaton and Richard Pratt rounding it out. They renamed the group Blue Magic, signed to Atco Records, and started recording at Sigma Sound Studios with MFSB, Philadelphia's legendary house band, backing them up. In 1974, they released a song called Sideshow. The concept actually came from a visit to an antique museum, this carnival barker metaphor for heartbreak, a sideshow announcer inviting you to see the saddest show in town for only 50 cents. It hit #1 on the R&B chart, #8 on the Billboard Hot 100, over 1 million copies sold, gold. Billboard ranked Sideshow the 19th biggest song of the entire year. And in 1975, Aretha Franklin herself presented Blue Magic with the Ebony Award for Best New Group. Here's something most people don't catch. The intro of Sideshow was sampled decades later by Chris Brown on Young Love. If you've ever wondered where that opening came from, now you know. Blue Magic had 6 top 20 R&B hits between 1972 and 1976. But when the disco era shifted the market and their label moved on, the hits stopped. Ted Mills and the group kept recording, kept touring, kept showing up. In 2025, Blue Magic was finally inducted into the Atlantic City Walk of Fame by the National R&B Music Society. 50 years after Sideshow. Some people say the music industry never got around to appreciating them properly. I'd argue they never stopped earning it. That's #8. #7 has one of the most devastating individual stories of any group on this list. And most people don't even know the man's name who made it possible. #7, Heatwave. Here's the thing about Heatwave. They shouldn't have worked. By every logic of the music industry, they shouldn't have been anything at all. The band formed in England after an American serviceman named Johnny Wilder Jr. was discharged from the U.S. Army and stayed in Europe performing in clubs. He placed an ad in a British music publication looking for musicians. A keyboardist from a small fishing town in Lincolnshire named Cleethorpes answered that ad. His name was Rod Temperton. The group that came together was one of the most multinational acts in R&B history. And we'll American brothers Johnny and Keith Wilder on vocals, Rod Temperton on keys, Mario Mantis from Switzerland on bass, Ernest Berger from Czechoslovakia on drums, Eric Johns from Jamaica on guitar, Roy Carter from London. They called themselves Heatwave, signed to GTO Records in 1976, and within a year, Rod Temperton had written two of the biggest songs of the decade. Boogie Nights hit number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1977. Platinum, Always and Forever, hit number 2 on the R&B chart in 1978, also platinum.
A dream to me that somehow came.
The Groove Line hit number 7 pop later that same year, also platinum. 3 consecutive platinum singles from a group most people under 40 couldn't name today. And then Rod Temperton left to focus on songwriting full time. His work attracted the attention of Quincy Jones.
Just the things that you do.
And Rod Temperton, the man who wrote Boogie Nights and Always and Forever for Heatwave, went on to write Rock With You, Off the Wall, and Thriller for Michael Jackson. The man who made Heatwave also made Thriller. Stay with me on this last part. In January of 1979, Johnny Wilder was visiting family in Dayton, Ohio, when a van struck his car. He survived, but the accident left him paralyzed from the neck down. He never performed live again. He continued recording vocals in the studio from a wheelchair for years until he passed away in May 2006. Rod Temperton died in London in 2016. Keith Wilder in 2017. And if you've ever slow danced with someone to Always and Forever, you know what it costs to make that song exist. That's number 7. Number 6 had the most reluctant lead singer on this entire list and one of the most accidental hit songs in 70s R&B history. Number 6, L.T.D. This one is something else. L.T.D., Love, Togetherness, and Devotion started life as a group called Love Men Limited in Greensboro, North Carolina in 1968. They were originally members of Sam and Dave's backing band before they went out on their own. They relocated to New York, then Los Angeles, signed with A&M Records in 1974, and started building something real. Jeffrey Osborne joined the group as the drummer. That was his whole job. He played the kit, shared occasional vocal duties with his brother Billy, and that was it. By 1976, something shifted, and Jeffrey became the primary lead vocalist. That same year, a songwriter named Skip Scarborough came to them with a ballad. Scarborough had originally written it for Earth, Wind, and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire passed on it. L.T.D. got it. Lovers come and then lovers. And at 4:30 in the morning, upset, exhausted, barely wanting to be there, Jeffrey Osborne stood at the microphone and sang Love Ballad in a single take. Walked out. That was it. That was the song. It hit number 1 on the R&B chart, top 20 pop. Then Back in Love Again in 1977, number 1 R&B, number 4 pop. Then Holding On When Love Is Gone, another number 1 R&B, 3 number 1 R&B hits from a drummer who was never supposed to be the lead singer, singing a song that Earth, Wind, and Fire turned down in one take at 4:30 in the morning. You know that feeling when you do something almost by accident that turns out to be the best thing you've ever done? Jeffrey Osborne gets to tell that story every night. That's number 6. And I want you to hold on to something before we get to the top 5. And every group on this list had the hits, the gold records, the sold out shows, None of them vanished because they failed. They vanish because of what happens to excellence when the business decides to move on without you. The next 4 groups were even bigger, and the story at number 1, I honestly don't know how to prepare you for it.
Loving you gave me something new.
Number 5, The Moments.
Foolish problems can't separate.
Hackensack, New Jersey, Stang Records, a trio that for most of the 1970s was one of the most consistently successful R&B vocal groups in the country, and whose producer went on to change the entire history of hip-hop. The Moments, Harry Ray, Al Goodman, and William Brown, had multiple number 1 R&B hits across the decade. Love on a Two-Way Street in 1970 hit number 1 R&B and number 3 pop. Look at Me, I'm in Love in 1975, another chart topper. And their producer through much of their career was Sylvia Robinson, half of the duo Mickey and Sylvia, who gave us Love is Strange. Now wait, you know who Sylvia Robinson is, because in 1979, after shepherding the Moments through most of a decade of hits, she founded a small label called Sugar Hill Records. And the first thing she produced there was a song called Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang, the first hip-hop song to crack the Billboard Hot 100. There's a straight line from Hackensack, New Jersey, R&B to the birth of commercial hip-hop. And that line runs directly through The Moments. In 1978, the group changed their name to Ray, Goodman, and Brown, partly due to label issues, partly to rebrand, and almost immediately scored another number 1 R&B hit with Special Lady in 1979. Some of you grew up with that song in your house and didn't know this was the same group, and if you're nodding right now, you're not alone. That's number 5. Number 4 brings us back to Brooklyn, with 9 college students and a Grammy nomination in their first year. Number 4, Brass Construction. Brooklyn, New York, 1968. A keyboard player and singer named Randy Muller started a 4-piece R&B group called Dynamic Soul. Over the next few years, it kept expanding. Jazz players, Latin percussionists, a full brass section that hit you like a physical thing. By 1972, they were a 9-piece ensemble, and Randy renamed them Brass Construction because the horns, he said, were the whole foundation. Here's what you need to understand about who these people were. They were all college students, every one of them. They scheduled recording sessions around their academic terms and had to wait for semester breaks to go on the road. In 1975, they went into the studio and built a track called Movin'. The original studio jam was 16 minutes long. They cut it down, shaped it, and released it. Movin' hit number 1 on the R&B chart, number 14 on the Billboard Hot 100, and number 1 on the dance chart. Their debut album hit number 10 on the Billboard 200. In the UK, it became the first disco album to crack the British Top 10 Albums chart, and it did that before they'd even officially released it over there, purely on import sales from fans who'd ordered it across the Atlantic. The album received a Grammy nomination for Best R&B Instrumental Performance. 9 college students from Brooklyn. And here's the one that still gets me. When they were supposed to tour the UK in 1976, Randy Muller realized that his mother had never registered him as an American citizen when his family immigrated from Guyana. If he left the country, he might not be allowed back in. The tour had to be delayed a full year. A Grammy nomination and a platinum record, and the man couldn't cross the border. That's number 4. Number 3 is Five Brothers with Cape Verdean roots, a future Aerosmith drummer in their history, and a Grammy they took home from Saturday Night Fever.
Got myself together, yeah.
Number 3, Tavares, New Bedford, Massachusetts, and Providence, Rhode Island. Five brothers, Ralph, Pooch, Chubby, Butch, and Tiny, whose parents were of Cape Verdean descent, who started performing as Chubby and the Turnpikes in 1959. Tiny, the youngest, was 9 years old. They spent over a decade building their sound before they broke through. And along the way, they had some company that most people don't know about. In 1969 and into 1970, their drummer was a kid from the Boston area named Joey. He played with them through late 1969 and into 1970 till September of that year when he got invited to join a band that Steven Tyler was building. That drummer was Joey Kramer of Aerosmith. By 1974, the Five Brothers had signed with Capitol Records and were releasing material as Tavares. Their first number 1 R&B hit was a cover of a Hall & Oates song called She's Gone. And here's the thing, they hit number 1 with it 2 years before Hall & Oates released their own version. Tavares charted the songwriter's own song before the songwriters did. It Only Takes a Minute in 1975, number 1 R&B, number 10 pop. Later sampled by Jennifer Lopez on I Can't Get Enough. Heaven Must Be Missing an Angel in 1976, gold, top 5 R&B. And then in 1977, the Bee Gees wrote More Than a Woman specifically for Tavares to record for the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. The Bee Gees wrote them a song. Tavares won a Grammy as part of the album. 3 of the 5 brothers are gone now. Ralph died in December 2021, Pooch in April 2024, and Chubby Tavares passed just this past November of 2025 at 81 years old. 3 brothers, a family that gave this music everything it had and kept showing up right until the end. That's number 3. Number 2 is from Harlem, and the group's name came from reading the back of a Coca-Cola bottle. Number 2, the main ingredient. Harlem, 1964. 3 men, Donald McPherson, Luther Simmons Jr., and Tony Sylvester, started performing together as a trio called the Poets. They changed names a few times over the years before landing on the main ingredient in 1968.
It's swept away. Oh.
Cuba Gooding Sr., who grew up 8 blocks from the Apollo Theater, had been friendly with the guys for years and would sometimes add backing vocals on their sessions. The name, The Main Ingredient. Cuba told the story himself. Someone was reading the back of a Coca-Cola bottle in the studio one day. That was the name.
Listen, baby, it may be factual, maybe.
In 1971, their lead singer, Donald McPherson, was diagnosed with leukemia. He died quickly, unexpectedly, and the group was shattered. Cuba Gooding stepped in from backup vocalist to frontman, and they regrouped to record.
Love is such an easy thing to do.
In 1972, Everybody Plays the Fool came out. It hit number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, number 2 on the R&B chart, gold certified, Grammy nominated for Best R&B Song. And it said something so simple and so permanent that Aaron Neville covered it in the early 1990s and took it back to the top 10 20 years later.
Everybody plays the fool.
You know that lyric, everybody plays the fool sometimes. There's no exception to the rule. You know it because it's true. That's why it keeps coming back. Cuba Gooding Sr. left the group in 1977 and pursued a solo career on Motown.
There's no exception to the rule.
He eventually became known to a different generation, mainly as the father of Oscar winner Cuba Gooding Jr. Tony Sylvester died in 2006. Luther Simmons died in 2016. And Cuba Gooding Sr. was found in his car on a street in Woodland Hills, Los Angeles, on April 20th, 2017. He was 3 days from his 73rd birthday. I don't know why the ones who gave us this much tend to leave so quietly. That's number 2. And number 1, Kelmo, this one I've been holding on to, because it's not just a music story. It's a piece of American history that most people don't know. And it involves one of the most haunting ballads Detroit ever produced. Number 1, The Dramatics. Detroit, Michigan. John J. Pershing High School, 1964. A vocal group formed the way most of them did. Teenagers with high harmonies, borrowed stages, and no plan except to make something. They went through names before settling on the Dramatics. And for most of the second half of the 1960s, nothing happened. Small labels, minor placements. Stax Records signed them in 1969, released one single, dropped them when it flopped. 2 years of nothing.
It's what you get.
Then in 1971, a songwriter named Tony Hester saw them perform at a Detroit nightclub. He had a song he'd been sitting on called What You See Is What You Get. He offered it to them. Stax re-signed the group because of it. What You See Is What You Get hit number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 3 on the R&B chart. Over 1 million copies sold, gold. And then they put out In the Rain. If you've never heard In the Rain, what I'd give to hear it for the first time again. Dennis Coffey's guitar intro through an Echoplex delay unit, storm sounds building underneath it, and then the vocal. A ballad about a man so heartbroken he wants to stand in the rain so nobody can see him cry. It hit number 1 on the R&B chart, number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, another 1 million copies, another gold record. The backing band included 3 of Motown's legendary funk brothers, alongside bassist Michael Henderson, who regularly worked with Miles Davis. But here's what the chart position can't tell you. On July 25th, 1967, years before any of this, while Detroit was burning during one of the deadliest civil unrest events in American history, a group of black men were taken by police to the Algiers Motel on Woodward Avenue. What happened there, the beatings, the killings, was one of the most documented atrocities of the civil rights era. In 2017, Catherine Bigelow made a film about it called Detroit. And at the center of that film is the Dramatics. A member of the group named Larry Reed was at the Algiers Motel that night. He survived, but what he witnessed and endured traumatized him so completely that he never sang with the group again. He left music. He went to work in the local church. The Dramatics kept going. New members came in. Through the rest of the decade, they notched over 38 charting singles, including multiple top 5 R&B hits. They appeared on Soul Train. They built a legacy that the city of Detroit eventually honored in 2006 by naming a street after them in the Woodbridge Estates neighborhood. And in 1993, when Snoop Dogg was recording his debut album and his team wanted to sample the Dramatics, Snoop said no. He told them to call the group directly. "This is my first album," he said. "Them cats still around, man." The Dramatics came in and performed on Doggy Dog World in person because they were still there, still carrying it through everything. Ron Banks, founder and heart of the Dramatics, died on March 4th, 2010. He was 58 years old, heart attack at his home in Detroit.
What you see is what you get, is what you get.